Eti Sen is how are you in the Tree Akan language of the Ashanti tribe of Ghana, but also translates into Comment allez-vous in French, Ni hao ma in Mandarin, and Till Your Turn for those that know. Guests and collaborators are encouraged to take a step back and to check in with self. By checking in with self, you begin to explore how you're truly feeling, be it mentally.
Yeah, we on the social media thing, innit? We're on the social media.
We're trying to increase our social media presence, you know?
Hey, but bro, speaking of social media,
Yeah.
like I feel like we brush off the fact that it's coming recently.
Yeah, well,
it had a rise.
It's definitely something that is on the forefront of most conversations people are having.
Yeah.
It's been a lot more attention.
Yeah.
It's being discussed in all channels, news, radio, digital media. But social media as a concept is not new, you know, my brother.
It's not true.
It has existed as far as, you might say, the 1790s.
Ah, well,
relax.
But do you hear what I said? 1790s.
1790s, my G. Going all the way back to the Erno Durkheim's.
You dropping facts. Get your pen and paper. All right.
Allow me, brother. Listen, social media by definition, if you want to go to the Merriam-Webster, yeah, basically forms of electronic communication that allows users to share information by creating online communities. And this information can be anything from ideas, personal data, personal messages, and also other content. So, social media, as we know, it's not a new concept. It's currently a phenomenon, but it's definitely not a new concept. So, what I like to say, from anything from sending telegraphs, which was electronic back then,
True.
was considered a means of communicating through a social media platform.
Yeah.
So yes, although we are more digital now,
yeah,
it's moving to a digital space, and that's where it's seen the boom. There's been social networks as well that have existed, you know, especially in the defense industries, you know, and that's if you believe the conspiracy that the defense industries of the Western world have access to technology that is obviously about 10 or 15 years ahead of us, you know, then you believe that they do.
Yo!
Should I cut it short there? Just leave it there.
You're giving them too much, you know. You're giving them too much, you know. But listen, the ones that we know and we're common with, is the Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, all these.
Hey, let's take it way back. What do you mean? Facebook, Snapchat. These are newbies, man. That's your generation.
Yeah,
I'm talking about High Five, man.
Ooh, is that
High Five?
MySpace?
Yes, sir.
What is that? MSN?
You're talking about Bebo, my G.
Bebo? You don't even know about Bebo?
You know about Bebo, that picture sharing platform?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, my G.
When you all used to use the AOL network.
Oh, my G, that dial-up modem.
You know what to do?
By there, fam.
And if you use that network here, you couldn't make any call for the next hour.
You get me? I'm not no incoming calls, G. You can use it for so many positives.
Even
however,
use it.
If you're not business savvy, mate, you need social media. You have to. If you don't have it, your business
if you don't have at least Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram or some sort, those three, your business is crumbling. It's
fact. It's fact. If you want to be relevant, if you want to be trending with what's happening, even traditional media, newspapers now, the Guardian newspapers, all this, the Sun, all of these newspapers have digital alternatives because they have to compete in that space as well. So definitely social media is here to stay. Obviously, it's glorifying certain behaviors and characters that necessarily doesn't reflect well on society. Nevertheless, such is life. There isn't a clean, clear way of, let's say, with everything, you have to weigh up the pros and the cons. And that's what we're going to be doing very soon with social media, as we discuss the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, the pros and cons, the communities and the communities.
The communities and cominanas.
You know that
one. But yeah, we've just scratched the surface of social media. Like this is just like an introduction. We just haven't even gone in detail yet.
We're not going in detail, but as you can tell, it's going to be a fun topic for us to discuss. All the mean superheroes. Salt me.
Bro, I don't follow him. I follow him. This guy is intense. Like the way he slices on meat, yeah. Oh my goodness! I actually want to be in his restaurant. The way he actually like.
And that's an example of a positive from social
media.
Yeah. For my guy flicking socks to becoming an international superstar.
The fact that he's got the likes of Messi, Pogba, Diego Maradona, also like these are stars, and then people that have reached the top of their game or top of their fields come into his restaurant just to eat for an evening. So
social media gives you the opportunity for exponential growth.
Yeah,
everything
100%.
It basically amplifies your reach. It amplifies your audience, and with that you have to be sensitive to that exact reason.
Facts.
That amplification process means that you need to be ready for people to add their own 2 cents in. Everyone would have to comment.
If you want to be colloquial on that.
Oh, you know how we do.
If you want to be colloquial on that. If you want to be a colloquial.
As the story goes, let me give you a little parable.
Break it down.
Okay. Now the donkey and the wife needed to get from point A to point B. However, only one person could ride the donkey. Scenario 1.
Wow.
The man decided to ride the donkey and let the wife walk by the side. People decided to comment, look at this man.
How can he do that? Shame.
Chivalry is dead. He didn't even let the woman, they were talking. Scenario 2. The man decided to let the woman ride the donkey and he walk. People decided to talk. How can he do that? Stupid man. Look at him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just being used by this woman. He hasn't got balls. Scenario 3. Why are you laughing? Let me land now. Scenario 3. No one rode the donkey. They all decided to walk. Everybody walk out. Everybody walk out from point A to B. People still spoke. What were they saying? Stupid people. Don't know what the use of a donkey for. And so they still. Scenario 4. Both of them forced themselves onto the donkey. The donkey was struggling. People still.
This is animal cruelty. Why can you do this? Simple donkey. Can you not just share? Can you not take it in turns?
And I'm sure a few people have seen that video, that appeal on your on TV saying, please support a donkey, poor donkey. It's out there. I've seen that video.
I can't be back.
2,000 pounds. Save a donkey.
Oh my days.
The points I'm making is people are going to talk whatever the situation. People like to talk. We're social beings. We like to be entertained and we like to deflect attention from us, especially if it doesn't put us in a positive light. The point I'm making is live your life. Just be prepared to accept criticism, critique, and feedback. But in that same vein, you know what you're trying to achieve, and you just need to stay focused on the goal and avoid any distractions. So social media, we're going to talk about obviously the ills that come in social media. Sometimes it can lead people down a very dark place and take them into dark places. Sometimes it can elevate people.
Yeah.
So
the bottom line is sustainability. Be able to sustain the negative comments, whatever, the positive, negative, and you make the conscious decision to act accordingly to what's been given to you. You will be sustained in wherever you go on to do. Businesses that are top dog, Apple, McDonald's, those people, they've managed to adjust as time went on. They've been there for years, but they see social media and they see how it's a positive influence in their business, and they've looked at the positives. They don't get it twisted. The negatives are there. If they mess up, people will slate them.
Of course.
For example, that Nike, Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, yeah.
Power to the people, kind of vibes there.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. The bottom line is Nike saw as an opportunity to really cause controversy, and they used that negative publicity in a positive light.
Exactly. Which is a very, very good example. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that was right on cue.
Listen, I'm here.
That was a nice segue.
I'm here. Pen, let's go.
So, the point that Nehemiah is trying to make very, very eloquently is basically the fact of the matter is this. When it comes to social media, it's given the opportunity for a lot of disruptive technologies, all the way from Uber to Deliveroo.
Trust.
Uber Eats again. Uber has done it double-fold.
Double, like.
They came in with disrupt the whole mini cabin and the whole black cab situation. They changed that.
Do you know, especially in South London, I guess, let me get a cab. Are you crazy?
Again,
Uber driver
had to step up. They were used to their traditional methods of booking.
Exactly.
But when Uber came and was doing the online app,
they were like, nice.
Soon Addison Lee had to step up and get an app of their own.
And simple things like that actually changed the perspective of online usage. Like people, when they even do contracts for phones.
Oh yeah.
Calls and texts.
Yeah.
When I can have unlimited or 30 gig of data.
You get me? Who needs calls and texts?
Who needs calls and texts?
WhatsApp call, baby.
Give
me that data.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd rather WhatsApp calling than
WhatsApp. Very soon Instagram will have Instagram call. That's when I know everyone's finished.
When Instagram call counts, my G.
My guy.
Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. Comment in the section below. You get me? Instagram apparently now you can comment using your voice.
Oh yeah. Oh. I heard about that one. Listen. When someone said that, I said, this is gonna break the rules and change the game.
It's game changer.
You know how many wives are in trouble?
Trust me.
You know how many husbands are in trouble?
Because if your babe posts one fine picture and you see one romantic guy come and comment,
baby, I love you. Let me toast you.
My sweet cocoa.
My sweet cocoa.
My papa.
That's a plantain. My oh, this guy's crazy. Must say my third.
But the point I'm making is here is just allowing us to evolve and to improve our social interaction.
But I feel like the objective is not to get lost in it.
We shouldn't get lost in it because now
it's created two worlds.
The lines are being blurred.
Yeah, the lines are being blurred, and it's created two worlds. Now there's people that really live in the social media world.
Believe that's reality.
That's exactly, and there's
that reality.
Exactly, their perceptions are a bit warped in the sense of believing that social media is the real world that we live in.
Yeah.
And simple things like going out for a walk, actually linking your friends, those things are slowly coming to be extinct.
Yeah.
Because people generally believe that why go out
I
and
can
see them?
FaceTime you, baby.
I can FaceTime you.
You can see me.
I can WhatsApp video call you.
We can go dinner call. We can do a
Trust
Skype.
me.
We can do a Skype date.
For real.
So
you cook something in your house, I cook something in my house, we sit down and eat. What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
But guys, know the difference.
Yeah.
You can bounce between two worlds.
Use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Basically. Do not let social media control you.
You
want to
control
make sure that you wait and you utilize it to your advantage. The best way to amplify you to the rest of the world and use it to make money. Make money from it. That will be my advice. Though if you want to use it just recreationally, use it for recreation, but that's where you need to be careful.
Because,
exactly.
Yeah, it could get to you because people use it as a way of happiness and people can't live without it. That's a scary thing because if you can't live without social media, so people that lived before 1970,
you know, before the 1790s, people were still alive.
People were still alive.
Early as the 1990s.
You feel me?
MySpace, what, 2000s, early 2000s?
And that wasn't even a hot topic. People were like,
Facebook, 2004. So honestly, within the past,
Facebook has over 2 billion users monthly.
Of course.
Monthly.
Of course.
Do you know what billion is?
Yeah, man. The Zuckerberg is making peace.
Do you know what billion is?
A billion is a million 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
Think about it.
Can you even process one? Can you count 1 million with your fingers? Then try billion. Then add another one to it. Are you man crazy?
So, social media. We'll be having a lot more to discuss, of course. Yeah. We're going to be talking naturally about the pros and the positives I said earlier, but we're going to spend a lot more time as well as the depression and the mental health aspect as well, because we feel empowered to discuss those issues with our audience, because at the end of the day, what we're experiencing is very similar to what everyone else is experiencing.
And this is real life.
It's real life. We are all social beings, as we say.
Social media, as usual. But this time we're working on the negatives in it. We're not a negative channel, but call a spade a spade. We have to identify the problem and find a solution to it, innit?
When we're talking about negative, we're talking about obviously the not so optimistic or the not so positive effects of social media. With life, there are ups and downs. We're living in a polarized world where there's obviously duality. So there's hot, there's cold, there's black, there's white. So there will be positive and there will be negative. And the reason now we decided to obviously specifically address some of the not so positive, or in other words, negative connotations or expressions or results, outcomes, whatever word you want to use of social media. So we're going to obviously discuss a few of the key factors that link or that feed into the negative connotations of social media usage. So off the top of your head, what comes to mind when we're talking about the negativity of social media as a user? Obviously, we wouldn't say you are one of the overzealous users, but your frequency of usage is it's borderline there.
It's there, bro. It's up there.
But are you using social media or is social media using
you? I think we have to repeat that bar.
Are you using social media or is social media using you? That's the first question you have to ask yourself if you want to do a bit of self-diagnosis. So as I said, when we talk about negative connotations, what comes to mind first, my brother?
Oh, the first one that comes to mind for me is the major one that I don't think is common. And in terms of the label, but it's there and it's powerful.
Okay.
Which is the fear of missing out.
The fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
So FOMO, in other words, FOMO. Okay. So all you MOFOs there, all you mofos out there, freaking out your FOMOs. We're gonna break it down a bit to make yourself feel good.
It's that time.
But for those that quote who I just did that sly, naughtiness, I tried to slide in there. We'll bring it.
Let's bring it back.
FOMO, fear of missing out. So let's expand on that, bro.
Yeah, man. Is that time to expand on it?
Is that time?
Is that time in it? But yeah, FOMO, fear of missing out is this concept where you look at maybe your friends or people that you hang around with in your life. You see what they do on social media, where they're going, this and that.
The influencers, the trendsetters.
And then you see the trends, you see that you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be a part of this.
Exactly.
We're like, oh yeah. Oh, like this recent thing, the AirPods, Apple have put out AirPods. AirPods are now a trend.
Okay.
And people are doing FOMO out here.
Okay.
Fear of missing out.
On AirPods.
Really? Yeah. People will go as far to cutting their normal earphones and put in their ear just to catch on the trend.
I cannot believe that. So you rather take away your ability, not even ability, the opportunity to listen to music.
The function. Just to take a picture, one picture and say, FOMO, man, man's out here, I don't want to miss out. I got the AirPods going on, man. It's in my ear, you see it? I'm starting the profiling.
That is a bit sad, but it's a very, very, very unfortunate reality that some of us face, especially if you are one of those that uses social media to that extent whereby you have that fear of missing out. In other words, you're looking at your posts, you're looking at other people's posts, and you're seeing that they're maybe going on holiday, they might be going to this show, they might be interacting with celebrities, they might be eating a certain diet, they might be giving that impression that they are living a certain lifestyle, that you have that desire or you have that ambition or that dream to also live that kind of lifestyle. So that's your aspiration. And if you're not able to achieve some of those, I guess, lifestyle choices that the person is also
trends, lifestyles,
you feel a certain way.
You feel a certain
and this leads you down a place of anxiety
or
depression. It might even take you as far as suicidal ideation, and by that obviously the thought starts creeping in, and then that leads towards other disorders as well, sleeping disorders as well, eating disorders. And in the first instance, you might be thinking all of this is helping me achieve these goals of being a social media influencer or trendsetter. But in the long term, it might have some detrimental effects on your health, your lifestyle, and your well-being as well. So FOMO, although it might not be something that has been given a lot of attention, that's a lot of the other negative impacts of social media. It's one of those ones that seems to be
the catalyst.
That's the word.
The catalyst, in which all these things stem from, like anxiety, depression, sleep, just body image. Oh, that's powerful. We'll come there. Cyberbullying and more, to be honest. But those are the main ones that really, those are the common phrases that you hear. Oh yeah, I'm depressed. Reason why you're depressed?
FOMO.
Oh,
I'm having some sleeping disorders. What's the reason?
FOMO.
Oh, I'm not able to eat properly. I'm having some food disorders. What's the reason?
FOMO.
So you see the pattern, you get me? So that's from our point of view, from my experience, being an observer, being aware of social media usage, we realize that FOMO seems to be one of those underlying factors, or as Niyama said eloquently once again, what's the word? Catalyst. Should we break down what catalyst, or you think the audience?
I know they don't know, man. They know that's science for you, man.
Okay, we don't need to explain.
That's science lesson. That one thing that's a problem, especially with my generation, is depression. We're very quick to say we're depressed, but that there's something going on in our lives. We're suffering from anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like we're in a very, very important stage.
Yeah,
like we're growing. We're in a growing stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to see people of my generation say, "Oh, you're depressed."
You're wondering, what is life? What is so difficult about life for you to be depressed?
That's what I'm saying, full responsibilities. I'm not even becoming a mess yet.
What's 1 in 6 of young adults, that is to say below the age of 25, use social media.
Yeah.
And of those social media intake in 2006, internet usage was about 35% of 16 to 24 year olds. In 10 years later, in 2016, from 35% to 82%.
Yeah.
So that's almost a 50% increase in 10 years of internet usage. That has a direct correlation to social media usage as well. So obviously, if internet usage has increased, social media increase and usage has also moved on from about that same 35% by this time to almost 90%. We're talking 89%. So that's a 55% increase in the space of 10 years. So obviously, if it's not being regulated, if awareness is not being raised, if the regulators and if these platforms themselves as well are not policing these social media.
That's a fourth part. You expect them to hold accountability for what goes on their platform.
Yeah.
They brought you a concept, an idea, and it's up to us, the people that use it, to take it into a positive direction, into a good light. But we get caught up in that 2 worlds, like that. Oh, I'm in a social media world. When you come away from that, you're a different person. People don't recognize you. Come on, man.
So that I think what you are alluding to, the fact of what is clinically referred to as comparison despair. And by the word comparison despair, we're actually talking about the fact that initially, when you're in isolated, when you're looking at your own post, you have this feeling of good. You feel good. You're like, oh yeah, I've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I've maybe gone to Ibiza for some partying, and maybe I've gone to Ghana for the New Year. Maybe in the next year, I've already know what I'm doing next year. Maybe I might be going to Spain. But then you flip to someone else's page, and they've done that same.
They've done a double, triple.
Exactly. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, rah. I might be missing out. Once again, fear of missing out. But then you actually live quite a worthwhile experience as well. So that comparison despair comes in, whereby you're feeling okay, a bit inadequate as well, and you're thinking, okay, I need to do a bit more. And once again, this will lead towards anxiety and eventually depression and a few disorders. So with FOMO and also with anxiety and depression being linked together, that would obviously lead to some disorders. And some of the key disorders are food and sleep disorders.
Those are the main two, especially with sleep. Sleep is another interesting topic because, especially my age, 16 to 24, that's 91% of social media users.
91%, 9 in 10 people. Or 9 to 10 or 16 to 25 year olds
use the internet for social media alone.
And this is coming straight from the Royal Society for Public Health. So they've done some substantive research.
Intense
and
research.
We've been privileged enough to review some of what they've published. And from our review and then from our investigation and also from our obviously doing a bit of background research as well, we've found out that yes, the facts and the statistics that they're given actually matches some of what the figures that these Snapchats and Instagram themselves are releasing as well.
And we're even able to observe it from our actual day-to-day lives.
Exactly.
We go out our day-to-day lives and we're saying, okay, this actually coincides and links to what they're talking about. It makes sense.
It really is. I don't know whether we've got to a state where we've come to almost accept it as part of life now. It's about your own personal inner strength, your personal mental fortitude to be able to live in this society whereby social media, the internet,
and
put some like immense pressure on you.
Yeah.
You feel like you're always walking around with a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like you have to amount to something. You have to do something that's beyond your means. You have to punch above your weight.
Yeah.
And there's no problem with punching above your weight. That pushes you to strive to do greater things. But we get carried away with it and get lost, and eventually it leads us to the wrong part, the downside of the part, the dark side of the part. That's what we don't want to go there. No one wants to be in that position.
You want to be able to go to bed at night and have a lovely sleep. It's recommended.
Exactly.
That you have about 6 to 8 hours sleep every day.
And myself, I enjoy my sleep cry. My father will slap me. Say, Daniel, you're sleeping too much. No, wake up. It's a tiredness. This lack of just keeping up with your day-to-day lifestyle routines. Like it makes
low self-esteem,
which leads you to worry, and then just that cycle. Exactly, that cycle just keeps repeating itself. And when you get lost in that cycle, then it's like you feel like then your life doesn't amount to nothing, and that's when it comes back to depression.
It can, and then that's where suicidal ideation once again might creep in again.
Yeah.
So
and it's all down to the fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Because you feel like you're missing out on so many things. Like, this person's doing this. He's gone on holiday 10 times. I've only gone on holiday once in 2 years.
Listen, my guys, my people.
Cut your quotes according to your size.
Trust me, my G's.
Hey.
Everyone's time is there.
Everyone
will get their time. I know in this world where we live in, we feel like some people are privileged and some people seem to have it all figured out.
And because now it's just glamorized. Now it's on show. Before, you never knew billionaires. You never knew you were billionaires.
We don't see the work that goes in.
Behind the scenes.
We don't see the grind. We don't see the struggle.
Wait. Let me break it down for them.
Break it down, man.
Let me bring a modern day parable, modern day proverb. Yeah. When you're going to watch all these movies, all these, like these you're hearing $billion and $1 million movies being invested,
Wakanda
forever. Let's even bring Black Panther. Did you see the behind the scenes? Do you know what the director did? He went to South Africa. He went to actually go and spend a wildlife to make sure that he brings his movie to life.
Exactly. He makes it authentic.
Made it real and as relatable as possible.
Exactly.
Now people are standing up, black people forever unites. You know the work you put in for it to be something of viewing pleasure.
Exactly.
Think about that. Just think about that.
Before we get to the stage where you're obviously looking and comparing and having that comparison despair set in, just understand that people rarely show you the journey. They probably show you once they've got to the destination. And the journey is very important because the journey informs your audience or your viewers or your fans or your followers of how you'll be able to achieve that result. So there's that sort of personal responsibility on you, the follower, on you, the viewer, to be aware and conscious of this fact that there is a journey that's led to that result. However, the onus is also on the so-called followee or the person that is being followed to also make it quite clear that, my G's, my fans, yes, I know you'll see me living this life. About 5 years ago,
I was alive.
Let's take someone like Whiskey for now. For those of us who know Whiskey, know that he's one of those people, one of those Afrobeat artists. I don't even know if he even sits in Afrobeats alone. He's an international artist.
International.
But from sitting in the corner, Dondolo. To Ojuelega. I understand. All the way to now, man's making hits with Drake and that.
Easy.
To making Drakes with Skepta. To making hits with obviously Tiwa and others. So it's not. But you know his journey because he's been there from the onset. Unfortunately for him, there'll be some of the millennials that were born post 2000 that will just go and whisk it and they'll be looking at his page. Those are actually born, let's say 2006, 2007. The ones that are now maybe 15, 16. And they'll be thinking, okay, this guy's always had it. But for my generation, we know that when I was in uni, hitting the spots and doing my thing, we know that this guy there. So we have that connection. So once again, it's about just being conscious enough that what you're seeing is glamorous. Yes, the lifestyle they're living is an aspiration. It's something that is good to aspire to. Who doesn't want to be living in comfort? Who doesn't want to wake up and breakfast is already served? We didn't have to cook it. But you're forgetting there was a time where you had to wake up and make it. You had to wake up and think, where the hell is breakfast?
Where's breakfast at?
So yes, all in all, put things into context and be aware. Yes, get carried away sometimes. We're not saying don't get carried away. But when it gets to the stage where you're like, it's leading towards a bit of anxiety. It's leading towards a bit of depression. Because low self-esteem is setting.
That's what I'm saying.
Check yourself.
Like that. One thing is important is that, listen, I'm all for identifying the problem. But you need to find a solution as well.
Exactly.
And my advice straight away, if you identify this solution and these problems here, first advice I can talk to someone about it.
Yes, so.
You talk to someone about it.
Yes, so.
Because if you don't and you bottle it up, what will be the straw that breaks the camel's back? One day, something will set you off.
Don't internalize any negative emotions or negative feelings. You'll be surprised the impact or the effect you allowing yourself to express yourself or having someone be a listening ear. The effect it has on you is so calming. Because it's almost as if you've just offloaded. You just let go. And it's almost as if you can breathe again. You're no longer feeling as if, you get me? And you see, I'm in that zone. It's almost a form of meditation. So allow yourself sometimes, if you have friends and family and acquaintances around you that have shown in the past that they can listen to and have your best intentions at heart. Because some people use it against you. That's why we feel like we need to internalize.
That's why people develop that trust issues.
Exactly.
Trust issues. And let's leave it. The booth is coming. The studio sessions are coming.
We're practicing again. We're getting the voice straight on point.
We're in the la 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 la
Don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Hold it. Anyway,
Just be aware
of the journey.
and then
I feel like one thing we've not taken into consideration is body image.
Ooh,
That's itself.
But you know me, I ain't got no body image issues personally, you get me? Because obviously mine's a bit prim and proper and you get me looking all tight in all those places there. But that's just me though. If I wasn't prim and proper and tight in all those places there, it wouldn't really matter though.
Because I love my body.
You get me? That mental fortitude, you get me?
It's strong. It's there.
But it's not the same for most people.
Like obviously for me again, like he's exactly the same thing he said. Like my mom would never allow me to have body image problems. She would slap it out.
Are you crazy?
Exactly. You mad. The bombolo cigar.
You get me?
But
but it's a serious
topic now.
And it's obviously increased the wealth or filled the pockets of our so-called plastic surgeons.
Bro, do you even know that 9 in 10 females say they're not happy with their body?
That's depressing to hear. But once again, we're living in a society where a lot of comparison comes into play. We're talking about breast implants, bum implants,
everything,
nose jobs, mouth jobs,
fat reduction, liposuction,
Botox, the whole lot,
lip increasing, all that.
And what is the reason? What is the driver?
No. But first of all, how's the question? What's your end goal? So you've got the body now. When it dies and withers out, your personality is zero.
This as I said, what's the end goal? And I think we have to come at it from a very sensitive point of view. Because for someone to make a decision to go under the knife, under the needle, or for them to do some sort of body enhancements or do some sort of surgery, they've got to that stage where they clearly do not like a certain part of their body. And they've clearly got to the stage where they feel like they have to do something about it.
Maybe it could have been due to the fact of cyberbullying, because cyberbullying is out there.
Cyberbullying.
Okay, maybe
so it could come to bullying in essence, but also when we're talking about the internet and social media, we then have to mention cyberbullying. For those that are obviously currently using it, that may be in their late 20s, early 30s, those that have experienced bullying at a young age, maybe about them having itty bitty no back or
no this, no
big
that,
nose or whatever the issue may be. And then obviously now that they reach a life where they're making a lot, they're getting some income, making some money, they're earning, and although they've also identified that on social media, sex sells.
Hey!
Understand?
No. You didn't hear what he said. I beg you, please repeat
on social media, sex sells. And if you are aware of this fact, like right now, if me and my bro right now, we're sitting right here, topless. Just chest all blazing.
I will blow, cuz. I will blow.
Delivering this message. In fact, let's just say, if we get like 1K view in let's say 2 weeks here, our next episode we'll do it topless.
Topless for you, man. Cause sex sells.
We'll come out on and we just like this.
We'll just see like this.
We'll be moving the
bro. Do you need some stuff?
So basically, what we're trying to explain is, and then quickly.
again, we're trying to obviously bring a bit of light to a serious situation. But it's a fact, sex sells. Now, when you go on social media, especially the Instagram, the Insta models, something they're called.
Oh,
you get me?
bro,
You got
don't
your
get
pages
mad.
with
Get mad.
voluptuous bodies and the seducing pictures and
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why marriages are failing. Marriages are for failing.
How do I know about these pages, by the way? Just in case you get me. It was just because someone sent me a link.
You're already in trouble. You want to read this? Okay.
I've never even seen any of those pages before. In fact, again, someone just told me about it.
Someone's I heard from it from newspaper.
But now, they're real, right? These pages exist.
Yeah.
And for some people, they're making money from it because their pages have a certain amount of followers, and then businesses are using their pages for marketing and for promotion. So if you're that astute and you're very clearly aware that I'm using my body to gain and generate more income, and then by X amount of years I'm going to stop and then focus and diversify, calm. Life is something that's being fooled by your audience. If you're changing your body and going through those body image issues because your followers are kind of the ones suggesting it to you and then you're responding, once again, clearly that's your personal issue that you have to deal with.
Because at the end of the day, you don't know what it's doing to people. Because you don't know that people are, their self-esteem is being lowered, like it's being put down lower and lower because they're seeing you, they're thinking they need to get to your level. They need to reach that goal. That's their goal. What you're doing for profit and for fun, that could be their goal. That's what they feel like they need to do in their life to make them feel some sort of worth.
So in the future, maybe full disclosure might be something that is needed on these pages. You understand? If these what's it called? The providers, such as Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, make it quite clear that you have to do some sort of disclosure on your page so that the followers do not take your
message.
Don't take it to heart, face value. But also particular word else.
With body image and everything, it's just a matter of just training yourself to love yourself and everything, because no one, at the end of the day, think about it this way: if someone doesn't love you, you can't be relying on people's love to keep you going. You understand?
You have to love yourself first.
It's so important.
If you want to go through that change of going, it's your personal decision, and I have nothing against it, but I understand the reason why you're doing it. If it's because you have come to that conclusion yourself, based on the fact that you don't like, or it's coming from cyberbullying, it's coming from your followers saying, "Oh, if you have this type of body or whatever," just basically be clear in the decision making so that you do not have any regrets and there's no remorse further down the line. Because some of these changes really have some, once again, not so positive or negative effects. So we've touched on FOMO, we've touched on cyberbullying, we've touched on sleep, we've touched on anxiety and depression. What else is there to talk about? So we should just go through a bit of a generalization, summarization.
At the end of the day, people, please, I'm begging you. Don't let social media use you. Because it creates an unrealistic representation of reality.
Wait. Back down. Please repeat that one again. It's something about do not let social media use you because it wants.
Because it creates an unrealistic representation of reality.
Could we live in a multi-dimensions? Could the social media world be actually another universe that is completely separate? Is that why there's that disconnect from those that seem to have made it in that life? And when it comes to real life, they're normally going through a bit of disorders. Food for thought. But as my brother was saying,
at the end of the day, we try to get you to understand a different perspective. Because if you look at everything one way, you will not learn, you will not get to the level you want to reach in life. You have to look at it from a different perspective. Think about how social media is affecting you and the ones around you.
Because at the end of the day, we are in fact living in a 4-dimensional world. They might say 3-dimensional, but it's 4-dimensional because there's the part that we don't see. So use that approach in everything you do. Do not look at anything from a 1-dimensional perspective. If you are living in a 3 or 4-dimensional world, at least everything you do, see it from at least 3 or 4 perspectives. So the not so positive effects of social media, aka the negatives.
But that's not the point, is it? At the end of the day, in every negativity, there's that huge positivity that brings down. And that's what we are right now.
Yeah, at
the end of the day, at the end of everything, all this social media, I wonder how it ties in with, relationships.
Hey, relationships. Hey. And I find my fair share of relationships.
Oh, hey, yo.
You get me?
Let's
I'm just saying though, innit? Like when it comes to relationships, that's not my fair share.
Yeah. Flavor, Sam. Look at that. The flavor. You see the colorway? You don't even know what's it called?
We call it tortoise.
There's a like tortoise. I want to say with eloquence, black tortoise.
You get me, man? Another installment.
Oh, we're still on social media, baby.
As usual, it's a broad topic, so obviously we have to do it justice.
Exactly. Come on, you don't even know the levels. Don't get me mad. But yeah, man, if you're living on the rock, social media is there. It's here. It's right here. We're on it right now. You're watching us. You're enjoying yourself. You're smiling. You're laughing. But let's go through the positives, man. It's here. And then everything that's positive and negatives. But the positives is what we want. So, bro.
Yeah, so obviously,
come on, man.
With the positives, we want to talk about how social media has a positive impact on health in general. When social media is mentioned and when you talk about health, unfortunately as human beings, we have an appetite for the gruesome. We have an appetite for the negative. Negativity sells. When bad things are happening to other people, it is on our news. In fact, the news we watch nowadays is not news actually.
Because there's no aspect of good news there.
That's nothing positive whatsoever.
Fukushima attack, this person
terrorist attacks and all of that kind of stuff.
Relax.
So when we're talking about social media and how it affects health and the impact it's having, we're trying to highlight the positive impact it has on health. And one of the areas it's made an improvement is peer-to-peer interaction, especially the health experience that we have on social media. And when you look at the platforms, the different platforms on social media, from the YouTubes to the Instagrams to the Snapchats to the Facebooks and Twitter, there are a lot of health-oriented pages or health-oriented handles, and these health-oriented handles obviously jumped on the veganism bandwagon, jumped on the fitness bandwagon, your yoga, and there's so many pages out there. And the reason why these pages seem to be relatable to social media users is because about 16 to 24-year-olds make up a bulk
huge of 91% of the entire population of people, that entire age range of people that use social media.
You're still fluid, innit? You're not static, innit? When you go past a certain age, you're pretty much made up your mind on your principles. You have your principles, you know your do's and your don'ts. You have your identity is now basically solid.
And then I feel like you're at that pinnacle of exploration where there's like, it's almost limitless, innit? Like there's nothing, when you're young in it, when you're exploring stuff, like there's that sort of restriction in it because your age, you're too young to experience a lot of things. But when you're at that 16 to 24, there's that whole broad scale of there's so much of the world that I don't know, and you can actually have that ability to go out and do it.
Okay.
On that kind of wavelength.
We're obviously talking about access to peer-to-peer health experiences, and the reason why it's a lot more relatable on social media. And when we're talking about peer-to-peer health experiences, we're talking about traditionally to gain or to interact with the 16 to 24-year-olds. And we're saying 16 to 24-year-olds, in fact, anyone over the age of 16 up to, let's say, 35 to 40. The medical services industry interacting with these people in terms of GPs, in terms of booking appointments, in terms of encouraging people to come in for their flu jabs, in terms of sexual reproductive health, in terms of making sure that STDs and making sure that people are actually going for routine checkups. Giving this information out there to the actual target audience and getting them to come into these medical centers for these checks and for these routine checks actually has been a challenge. Social media has, in some ways, bridged that gap in the sense of a lot of GP practices now, a lot of medical centers, a lot of hospitals now have apps. They also have websites that you can go to. You can do a lot of the booking of appointments.
Much more accessible and much more
accessibility, that is the word,
It's made it much more exclusive because it's a thing where you can go on the apps and stuff like that, and it's like your identity is very protected rather than you have to explain. You can relate to it now a lot more. Say that okay, I'm going through this, and feel like they're not the only person that's going through this or going through this difficult time. They know how to handle it thanks to a lot of people that explain it to them through the social media's websites and then the apps and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So yes, in some aspects, social media has bridged the gap. But what we're trying to do at the moment is the fact that when it comes to the audience actually interacting in that space, the individuals that look like them or sound like them or have similar interests. For example, if you're going to be taking sexual advice on social media, for example, are you going to be watching someone of, say, of Dad's age, or are you going to be watching someone within your same generation?
Especially when it comes to that kind of
topics.
It's like people that are like above you or a different generation from you, like you just instantly have that instinct, oh, you don't understand me, you don't know me, man, you don't know where I'm from, don't know why, like it's more comfortable to relate to people that are in your current society, of the same age, of the same lifestyle you do, or what you preach and stuff like that. But another thing that has actually made another positive of social media, shall I say, is the emotional support that is being given on social media. People go through a lot of things on social media. People go through a lot of things in life in general. But social media has become like a platform where it's actually even like promotional things like, oh, if you're suffering with depression and stuff like that, go to this app and that app.
Oh yes, there's a lot of
which is actually helpful. They get numbers like by the day, because at first it's a bit skeptical because what people put out on social media there's a thin line.
It can sometimes be contentious. But social media has undoubtedly created an opportunity for building communities as well. And on top of building these communities, the major positive from these communities is that emotional support that they can sometimes deliver. When we're talking about emotional support, you find out that especially on Facebook, you can form pages and groups, and in these groups like-minded people normally congregate in these groups. And so what happens is the people that, as you said, the word is relatable, people that relate and have the same practices, the same experience, and have the same thinking as you do. So what this does is, and on a mental side, on a mental aspect, what it does is it helps people to come out of their shell, to express themselves more, to be a bit more creative, a lot more creative, to start thinking and start seeing the world as a place of opportunity.
The whole idea of me versus the world is kind of you get to know people that are on that same wavelength with you. You're like, oh yeah, you go through that same thing as well. Oh, I go through that same thing. And that's where the community is developed. That's where you get a lot of developing communities. And it's actually a wonderful thing to see. That
it is.
A lot of people like that kind of phrase, the world's becoming smaller and smaller. You see a lot of people now grouping together, coming together, tackling that one problem that everyone goes through within that group, within that community, and that's just a beautiful thing to go through.
So many different pages, like there's a lot of things happening on social media. If you're looking for it, you're very likely to find it. And that's what I'm saying. So this community building, emotional support is definitely out there, especially if you're going out there with a positive outlook already. So you'll be able to attract positivity if you put out positive intent. So
see, these are bars you need to relay and start again. You have to go back, start again. In fact, just say it again for them, man.
Obviously, if you're going and utilizing social media and you're utilizing it for positive intent, so if you put out that positive intent out there, then you attract positive reactions. So it's all about positivity. So that emotional support is there for you if that's exactly what you need.
And even in fact, it brings it to the next point of like a positive of social media is it helps people to find themselves. It creates that identity. They feel like they know who they are by what they are interested in. Interest define who you are.
Freedom of expression. It's allowed a lot of people to come out of their shells and they can that self-identity, self-expression. You know, it's given. If you look at the likes of Takeshi 6ix9ine, my guy's got rainbow hair, rainbow grills. You understand? So,
gosh,
this
is someone that when my father used to say "colo mental," I didn't even know what it was. But when I saw it, I just said, it dawned on me. I said, this is what you call definition of colo mental.
Colo mentality.
But like I said, other people say as colo mental. Some people say as, he's just expressing himself.
It's freedom of expression, like self-expression.
man.
He's getting attention. He's getting money from it. He's made a name for it.
Money.
I know of him. You know of him, and I'm sure a lot of people out there know of him.
If you don't know about him, if you go do your research,
exactly.
You'll be laughing 24/7.
On top of the self-identity and self-expression that social media offers, on top of that, it also gives the opportunity to make or build relationships and maintain these relationships as well. So we've talked about social media allowing people to express themselves. We've talked about social media allowing people to form online communities. We've talked about people giving emotional support. It also allows for people to build communities and also to maintain relationships as well. So on that aspect, it allows a reconnection of people, allows them to build even new relationships as well. Because apart from knowing people in past lives, there are people also meeting people fresh, strangers that meet on social media. And by strangers, meeting on social media as strangers, a couple of years down the line, a couple of months down the line, by actually meeting face to face, that relationship then takes and builds on from there as well. So it definitely allows relationship building and allows, if you can maintain that relationship, allows for long-term friendships being formed as well.
Because it's not only people I know because I know their friend. Bro, it happens way too many times.
So
man.
So this self-identity and the self-expression, that's what we're doing now at the moment currently, isn't it?
It's amazing now.
We're expressing ourselves.
We're enjoying the life, man. Fine boys, no pimples.
Today, there's a reason why we do this. On top of obviously sharing information and empowering the youth, empowering our generation and future generations, there's some sort of revenue that we're looking to generate as well on top of this.
Are we a business basically?
We have a service we're offering. And if there's that demand for that service, then we'll be able to get that demand, capitalize on that demand and build a business that we can sustain to meet that demand.
Yes! Amen. I double times two. I double it. I double everything.
Yes, so yes.
Double it today.
So on top of that, being a business, we have to obviously protect our interest. We have to be looking out of how we can get income. And they're traditional, well, I wouldn't say traditional, but when it comes to secure business transactions, I'm sure there's a lot of apps and a lot of services offered, but PayPal definitely would say is the leading service when it comes to secure transactions. And their relationship with eBay obviously has put them on a different trajectory. They're like, exactly. So PayPal is the preferred method of financial transactions when you're working in the internet space or the digital world. However, in the past 5 or 10 years, say 5 years, cryptocurrencies has been something that has come up a lot. And obviously it has its roots in blockchain. Oh, is it that time?
Is that time?
Is that
time? I think it's breaking down the clock.
In some circles, especially those that sit within the economic and financial structures that we live in this world, in some circles they consider blockchain to be the messiah for the financial services industry. And when I say the messiah, I mean they actually think that in terms of security, because that has been a major, how do we offer our audience, our clients, our customers secure financial transactions that has transparency?
Don't want 419.
Exactly.
We don't want it.
That cannot be corrupted. And that is also cannot be manipulated. So in other words, what blockchain essentially is a ledger, of economic transactions that can be programmed, not just for financial services or financial transactions, but anything of value. So what it does is it allows transparency from the first block, and when other computer nodes, which are the administrators, and these administrators are run by clients, these people then add to that block, and it's completely transparent. And from point A of the origin of the transaction to point B of the transaction being completed,
received, yes.
Basically, the point I'm making is transparent, it's not incorruptible, and it allows the fact that it cannot be manipulated as well. A network is formed essentially, and a network of computer nodes basically forms the blockchain.
I beg. That information, you can't even process it like that.
So,
hey, there's no more out of you. I beg.